1 in every 7 women will develop breast cancer in the course of their lifetime, and only 5 to 10% of breast cancer cases are actually hereditary. So much more research is required, more help and services are needed, and perhaps one way of maybe getting involved in doing that is taking part in the Very Pink Run this year. Karen Kruger, who's an ambassador for Breast Cancer Ireland's Very Pink Run, and Avril Tierney, also an ambassador, both with me in studio today. Good afternoon, ladies. You're very welcome. Thanks for joining us on the programme. Avril, you might maybe first of all, before we talk about the Pink Run and getting involved in that this year, you might tell us a little bit about your own breast cancer story.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us today. It's a long story, so I'll shorten it as best I can. So I was diagnosed initially in 2019 after finding a lump. I did all the treatments I had to do. I did chemotherapy, radiotherapy, had a lumpectomy, and was meant to be going on with my life as normal. But unfortunately then in 2020 was re-diagnosed again with, that travelled up to the upper part of my right lung. So at this point it was all very treatable. It was like, oh yeah, we'll just take out part of the lung and we'll take out the tumours. So that's what we did. I did all that and another 4 months of chemotherapy then. But unfortunately, after another scan, then it was discovered that it had actually gone further down into my right lung. And at this point, I was classed as stage 4 metastatic disease. So treatable, but not curable. So that was about maybe 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. I've been doing really, really well.
Yeah.
It's beyond devastating to get that diagnosis. It really is.
Imagine.
Yeah, it's devastating, and it took me a long time to gather myself and to get myself together and kind of come to the point where I'm able to do stuff like this and talk about it. And thankfully, I've been doing really, really well. I'm on an immunotherapy drug as well as a chemo drug. And as of my last scan, I have no evidence of disease, which means that the tumours have disappeared and I'm still on treatment, but it means that I'm currently living with no disease that they can see on a scan. And living really well, and so grateful to be here today and to be involved with Breast Cancer Ireland and to do all those things that I'm able to do. Yeah.
Is it a sort of a day by day approach to it? Is that kind of how you take it? Because from just talking to you, meeting you very, very briefly there in the past few minutes before you came on, you're super positive in your approach to this.
Thank you. Yeah, I think what it is for me is I very much just take everything day by day, sometimes hour by hour, and I think what's happened is I'm just kind of at a point now where I just live my life, and this is like, something that's in my life, but it's not my whole life. It's not my sole focus of my life. I do my treatment, I come out and I live as best I can. And I'm really lucky that I'm feeling well.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't have that, that privilege of feeling well, especially in the stage 4 realm. And just live and try to move forward and just keep going. That's what I try to do, and do really positive, good things.
Most absolutely.
Yeah.
What about you, Karen? What's your story?
I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer in 2022, early 2022.
Okay.
Initially, it was
Were we out of COVID? We were just out of COVID, were we at that stage? Yeah.
Yeah, so there was a long diagnosis process due to COVID vaccines and so on. But I initially was diagnosed with stage 1 and then had a series of tests. And about 2 months later, I was told, I had stage 3. And I went and had... So stage 3 means that, it's in the local area. So it was in my lymph nodes. So I had a mastectomy and a full auxiliary clearance, which is all the lymph nodes under your arm. And then I started chemotherapy for about 4 months.
Okay.
And then radiotherapy. I had 25 radiotherapy sessions. So
it's a lot.
Yeah, I was in the Vincent's on my own, no support, in having the treatment, looked after incredibly well. Professor Walsh, incredible oncologist, and it was still a very lonely time, very daunting. I don't know why I didn't reach out. I just was quite insular. I was trying to pretend as though it wasn't happening. I had 3 young children. I found my lump just a couple of days before my baby's first birthday. So, and 2 older children. So it was very much sort of just try and keep going as best as possible.
Do you mind me asking, would you have been a regular self, I suppose, examiner? Would you do the self-check? Was it sort of by accident you stumbled upon it? Or?
Yeah, it was by accident in the shower that I noticed a change in the physical appearance of my breast, and then I felt a lump after that. So I had just finished breastfeeding, like my baby was young, I was back to work, it was chaos at home. And you know, anybody who has young children knows they can't even go to the bathroom without the kids there. So you just, it's hard to find the time for yourself. So
was your discovery, Avril, was that how did that come about? Or?
By chance, really, as well. I'd been at yoga and I'd done a cobra. And when I
the yoga move,
it's a yoga move.
I'm new to the yoga, so that's
And when I kind of sat up, I got this really bad pain in my breast, and I just put it down to kind of hormones because I was 41. I was thinking, oh, it's perimenopause or whatever, and then kind of ignored it for about a week or two, and then discovered it in the shower as well, actually, and went to the doctor. And my GP, I've actually seen her letter since. She knew the minute she felt that. Like, my letter in the hospital was urgent. I was seen really, I was lucky it was just before COVID.
Yeah.
I was seen really quickly, and within I think about 6 weeks from diagnosis to starting treatment. It was very fast.
Do you know, it's funny, over the years talking to people, and I've some experience, I suppose, of the cancer services in the country through my dad as well when he was diagnosed. Like, once you're in the system and you get seen and you get that diagnosis, like, you know, typically the stories are positive. Like, people talk about, you know, things are expedited at a quick speed, and you know, you get in front of the consultant, the surgery, it happens, the treatment kicks in. You know, like, did you feel you were on a little bit of a? It must be a whole whirlwind, Karen. Is it the whole just movement that happens after that diagnosis?
Yeah, because it's all a blur. You're completely numb. You haven't a clue what's going on. You're getting your messages, go to this appointment, go to that appointment, and you just carry on. And it is, they operate a very seamless, you know, excellent service. But it's, you know, there's still definitely more that they can improve on, and the post, you know, cancer treatment, active treatment side of things, they can definitely improve on the importance of exercise and nutrition and things like that when it comes to oncology patients. That's really, really important. But, you know, all in all, the service is brilliant. Everybody gets a breast cancer nurse that, you know, sits, you know, is there for you as your point of contact throughout the whole treatment and everything, which is brilliant. But there's definitely room for improvement for sure. Like anything, you know, is constant improvement. And this is what Breast Cancer Ireland is so massively involved with. You know, I mean, the amount of research that they fund is phenomenal. I mean, they focus on education and awareness as well as the research. So they fund huge amount, I think millions in research. Yeah. So without Breast Cancer Ireland, we would be missing a huge amount of cancer trials. And that's massive.
Well, how did you, Avril, benefit from the likes of Breast Cancer Ireland? Or, you know, maybe for anybody listening to us today that is going through or has a family member going through what you and Karen, you know, did, how can they maybe, I don't want to say benefit, but what kind of services or help can they get from the likes of Breast Cancer Ireland?
I think ultimately what you get is a real sense of community from within. You know, they've a really small team, and there's a lot of ambassadors, and they're a lovely organisation to be connected to. But aside from that, for me, because I had been diagnosed with metastatic disease, there's not a huge amount spoken about, like stage 4, because it can be so kind of, I suppose it's so dreadful for a lot of people. So for the likes of me living with stage 4 and living really well, I linked in with Breast Cancer Ireland at a really good time when they were doing a campaign called Metastatic Matters. And I really found that I had this platform, and I was able to provide a voice for women like me who were young enough living with this disease and who were living really well. And of course, all of the money that goes towards research ultimately benefits people like me. I mean, I'm really here because of research and clinical trials, because the drug I'm on, it didn't exist before, like 6 or 8 months before I was diagnosed. And I'm still here with an NED, result in my scans. So it's a sense of community. It's a place that you can express your voice. But they also, the awareness campaigns are amazing, you know, encouraging us to check ourselves. I mean,
Well, absolutely,
as well.
yeah. Like, I mean, when you think about 1 in 7
Yeah.
women, I mean, it's such a huge stat.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they have a great app that people
The
can
app's
download
brilliant.
to help understand how to actually do the check and everything,
Yeah.
you know. And they're also trying to get help out Royal Cancer or RCSI, Royal College of Surgeons with Arnie Hill to help with getting radiology nurses trained up on how to actually breast screen to try and get rid of the backlog for the breast cancer checks, you know, because a lot of those nurses have to go to Edinburgh and things like that, places like that to get
The very
trained up on
specialised training,
on how to do the screening.
The funding is
And
needed.
The funding is needed, and Breast Cancer Ireland are massively involved in trying to bring, you know, and help with satellite clinics to help with that. So they do so much, you know, and I think it's like 15 million that they've invested in research.
And of course, a lot of this investment that you're talking about and the benefits that we see today comes from the likes of, you know, even just the sort of the small, the charity, the runs, the organisations that take place on an annual basis. And of course, today we're talking about the Breast Cancer Ireland Very Pink Run. There's not just one, there's 3 of them.
There is.
Yeah, Dublin.
Dublin, Kilkenny and Cork.
Yeah, I should say actually the Dublin event is it's on Saturday the 6th of September at the Leopardstown Racecourse. If you want to take part, if you're in Cork, it's at the grounds of MTU on Sunday the 7th of September. And if you're in Kilkenny, that takes place in the grounds of Kilkenny Castle Park on Sunday the 14th of September. You guys are going to be there. You're
in Dublin.
Absolutely signed up. Yeah, so registrations are open as well. And Andrea, like if people are, you know, if there are survivors that aren't feeling well enough to do it, you can do it virtually as well. So you sign up, do it virtually and raise where you can. I think they raised about 700,000 last year.
It's amazing.
And, you know, if you think one of the trials that they're involved with, the Shamrock trial, I think it's 1.8 million that it's cost. Like trials take around 5 years. From start to finish, so they need that funding. And Avril is here as a result of all of these types of trials. And it's people are so generous, and
they really are.
It's very small amount, and the day is so much crack.
It's a brilliant day.
I'm actually for the first time ever this year. I'm an ambassador for the Very Pink Run, so I'm looking forward to it because it sounds like it's, you know, it's not just, I suppose, you know, the elite athletes taking part of this.
Definitely not.
I was sold to me as a bit of crack, Avril. That's what I was told.
It is. It's a real festival feeling, and it really, really is. Like I go with a gang, and it goes from like a baby in a buggy right up to my parents in their 70s and everything in between. You have a bit of crack. You know, we get some photo opportunities doing a bit of like madness dressed up and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure you'll be involved in that this year. But it's brilliant, and you can do the 5k or the 10k. I do the 5k, generally walking it because I'm definitely not an elite athlete. But it's brilliant. It's such a good day.
It's a feel good day.
It is.
Just it's the positive vibe.
There's music.
There's you know, this is so much fun. Yeah.
Well, if we've enticed any of our listeners today to take part in the events in Dublin, Cork, or in Kilkenny, you can register. It's verypinkrun.ie.
That's right.
That's the registration where people can
do it today.
Details. Yeah, absolutely. You're feeling good otherwise, Karen? You're
good. Yeah, I'm also on ongoing tablets or treatment, and all down to research as well. So all good.
You're feeling positive today?
Really, really good. Yeah. Thankfully, in a really good place.
Actually, stronger than I was ever before cancer. So we have to take back. That's what I took back.
Well, look, I really appreciate you both taking the time because I know you travelled to be with us here today as well, and we really appreciate that. Best of luck with everything. Yeah, thanks a million.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a million for joining us. As I said, you can get more information if you want to register at the Dublin, Cork or Kilkenny event this September. It's verypinkrun.ie. That's Karen Kruger, Avril Tierney, both ambassadors for the Breast Cancer Ireland Very Pink Run.